Hey everybody, I wanted to come back on here and say thank you for the nice messages that a lot of people sent me after the last video that I did where I was talking about broadening and deepening the types of things I talk about, and I shared more about my particular story, history, family. So thank you everybody for that, because that was really nice. And I've been thinking about all of this, and what's been very interesting is, like, I was nervous to make the video, and I've felt kind of unsure afterwards as well. The reason being, not really because of anything else that I said other than sharing more details about my family and my personal story and my parents, which weren't even a lot of details, but it was just more than I've said before. And I realized it's a familiar feeling in the sense that I've had that feeling at various stages throughout the last really like 20 years of looking into my own story, my own trauma, seeking the truth about like what my family dynamics really were. So it's kind of a familiar feeling, and I realized it's the same feeling that I get every time I'm doing something new with that process. So like way back when, I really grew up believing that I had the best family in the world. I did not believe that I had any trauma whatsoever. In fact, I believed that my childhood experience was the opposite of that. And that was for various reasons. It was because I was in denial. Like I didn't know that some of the things that had happened were not normal. When you grow up with certain dynamics and nobody ever spoke against those dynamics when you were growing up, even things that from the outside, it might be obvious to someone else are not okay or not normal, you don't realize that. So that was part of the reason I thought that I had a great family. Some of it is that I didn't remember certain things. And then some of it was that some things were kept secret. So there were things that were going on in the family that, in that period of time that I didn't fully know about. And so then I found out about it, and it's made sense why I felt the way that I did, because these things were happening. So, it's been a combination of things, but this feeling that I've been having the last few days after making that video and before making that video is very similar to like when I very first even considered questioning my childhood. It's like this feeling of like worry, kind of a feeling of like guilt. So like when I made the video the other day, I felt like you can't say these things about your family. Like you can't share that kind of stuff publicly. You can't expose that stuff, like a guilt and still, like I talked about in that video, kind of a sense of shame, as if the dark stuff that happened is somehow reflective of me or my fault or something like that. It's hard to describe the feeling, but I think there's like you take it on when you really shouldn't. And just kind of like an uneasiness of like, is it the right thing to talk about? Is it not the right thing to talk about? It's like, it's not a feeling that you feel, well, for me, I'll just speak to my experience. It's often not a feeling that I feel totally like resolved about. But what was interesting about it, I was thinking, no, this is a feeling that I have kind of at every step of the way. So I felt it when I first considered even thinking about my family dynamics, and then along the way, when I would think about trying to seek the truth about something, I'd feel that way. Or when I'd consider telling someone else about what had happened, I'd feel that way. When I would consider kind of just owning that this thing did happen to me or in my family, I would feel that way. And I guess part of the reason I'm sharing this is because that's been my experience, and I think it's quite normal. when you are, you know, unpacking your childhood stuff, and maybe one of the main reasons you're doing that is because you're trying to heal food addiction and the root causes of what that is. And so you're unpacking that and you're starting to look at that, and it can feel precarious. You can feel kind of like uneasy about it, but it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And that's kind of what I had to remind myself the last couple of days. Like, yeah, but this feeling is normal. You've had it many times before, and it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. Like, just because you feel uneasy, worried, a little bit nauseous about it, guilty about it, it doesn't mean that you are going down the wrong track. And I think sometimes that happens with people when they start looking at childhood family stuff in the process of healing compulsive eating. They come up against this feeling and then they stop the process, or they take that feeling to mean that they are going down the wrong track and it is too much, or they are doing something wrong. And I think we need to be wary of that assessment of why we have that feeling, rather than just being like, oh, this is just normal, because we're all programmed to feel like families are everything. You need to, you know, be loyal through and through to the grave, no matter what they've done. You know, your blood relations are more important than any other person on the planet. We all have these internalizations that have happened. And so I think that's just quite normal. So yeah, that's how I've been kind of feeling, is like, ooh, I feel a bit floating out in space right now, having done this. But yeah, I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know? So anyway, thanks for everybody and your nice notes, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.